We can't afford therapy, so we thought that we would plaster our problems on the internet. Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the shit show.
That's it. That's all we need.
That's it. That's all we need.
No one's in charge except us. Hi, I'm Michaela.
I'm Tanya. We moved halfway across the world for the plot.
We can't afford therapy, so we decided to plaster our problems all over the internet.
Welcome to the shit show.
All right.
Hello.
Hi.
We're making a podcast.
And it's called Welcome to the Shit Show.
Because we have nothing left to do.
Yeah.
And I think if nothing else comes from it, at least someone can watch it and have a laugh.
Yeah.
And make their life look a whole lot better.
It's our version of Emily in Paris.
Yeah. There's what not to do in your life.
Yeah. I feel like we can come up with a better introduction to the podcast, but we'll leave that one for later, once we get a bit more comfortable.
What are you doing?
I wake up and ask myself that question every single day.
Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so we moved from Australia.
The initial point in time that you were like, this is our decision, this is what we're doing.
I think like part of me personally has always been like, one day I will just pack up my bag and leave.
We've been talking about this since high school.
Yeah.
We were going to move anywhere and not have enough money to feed ourselves. We've been talking about this since music.
I think it's always been like haha, if things get really bad, we'll just go. Or how cool would it be if we lived overseas?
We have shared that want to live elsewhere.
The dream. We've shared the dream.
Yeah. Nightmare.
The dream turned on. Why? What was like the breaking point? I wouldn't say it's a breaking point, but what was the point where you were like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go?
After spending 3 months here on a holiday.
Yeah.
I was like, I saw a life that I could be living and I had had enough of the life I was living. I knew where I wanted to be, but I didn't know how to get there. So I came home, cleaned what I had to clean and brought you back. I think growing up in a small town, it just becomes so mundane.
Yeah. And I think once you do travel, you do kind of see different places and different towns and different ways of living.
Yeah.
Why not go?
Yeah. Well, the worst thing is you just go home. That's
yeah,
exactly. The worst
exactly.
case scenario is you just go.
Yeah. I
For
think,
sure.
yeah. We haven't reached that point yet.
No, because I'm so hell-bent on there will not be that point. I'm not going home.
And like, I think a lot of people think we're running away. Like,
It's so I was thinking about this today when I was planning out the podcast, and I was like, running away means that you're seeking peace.
Yeah.
We have run away from something much easier to be at. Like, we could have stayed home. We could have done the thing and had it really easy to get a job and all that stuff. We've run headfirst into the fucking fire and we're like, let's go there. No, it hasn't been all bad. But you know what I mean? Like, I think that running away is not... But that's a lot of the feedback that I got when I said I was leaving.
Yeah, like we're trying to escape something.
Yeah.
Whereas we just brought all that crap with us.
Exactly. You can't escape anything.
I thought about this a lot because like, oh, why are you going? Why are you leaving? Like, you're running away. What are you running away from? It's not. I feel like we're running towards something.
Absolutely.
I think we're chasing something exciting, something different.
And I think every day that changes what we are.
We're running towards something not better. For me, it would be better because, you know, back in Melbourne, it was kind of like you've done it. You're in like a job, you're in a place, you're living in. Yeah, it's easy. You know where everything is. You know how to do everything. And you're like, okay, well, I'm still young. I don't want to do this for another 40 years.
No, for sure.
You want to level up. Just try this in a different country.
Do it somewhere else. It's the seeing something different every day for me. Like, you wake up in the morning and you don't know what's coming. And for some people, that is horrifically scary.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, fucking let's go. I have this weird chromosome and I believe that you have it as well. I don't want to be comfortable. Being comfortable for a certain amount of time is great.
Yeah.
And there's elements of comfort that I think are essential, but I also think that otherwise I just get bored. I get bored so easy. And I was bored at home.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. It was boredom.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah, we both had really good jobs.
Yeah.
We both had great families.
Yeah.
It's not like, again, it's not like we weren't we were running away from something that was horrible.
No.
It was just boredom. It was, okay, well, why go to the shops here when I can go to the shops in France?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And it's also for me, like, it's writing a story that I know I've completely 100% written myself. We haven't just fallen into the mundane of, well, it's so easy, mum's down the street. Or it's like, oh, I'll go see so-and-so who I went to fucking kindergarten with. Yeah. It's so easy to fall into that and then wake up in 5-10 years time and you're like, the fuck am I actually doing? Whereas here it's, well, do I want to go there? Let's go to there.
Yeah.
Or like, I want a job in this thing, so let's really look for a job there. It's just, you don't have all the opinions all the time because they're all asleep when you're making decisions and like no one's going to tell you no. No one's in charge except us, and that is dangerous.
Reply straight away if you think this is a bad idea. Oh, you didn't? Okay, cool.
Exactly. And by God, we made some bad decisions, but it's fine.
Bad decisions, we made them pretty willingly.
Exactly. What did people say? How did you break the news?
I left it to the last minute.
I know.
I'm like, well, I didn't because like, I think I've always travelled and I've always just been like, oh, I'm going on a trip. So people expect me to continue to go overseas because that's just what I love doing. People knew that you were overseas for a couple of months and that you would come home, and then I told them, yeah, she's going to go back over. So I think there was an inkling that, well,
if she's going, she's going.
Yeah. But I think there was a lot going on back at home during the time that we were going to leave that I kind of did leave it to the last minute. Everything was left to the last minute.
Yeah,
I think we got a visa a month before. I booked my flights literally 2 months before. Yeah. I told people once everything had kind of calmed down. So I think I told people about a month out, or a little bit more than a month. The main question was why.
Sure.
Everyone asked why.
I fucking hate that question.
Yeah.
Why not?
100%. Why not? That's the thing. We didn't have anything tying us. We didn't have a mortgage. We didn't have immediate family that we needed to take care of. And if we did, we kind of cut it. But
we'll get onto that later.
Yeah, it was the why not. We were still young. We are still young.
We are still young.
I think everyone should experience something different.
Absolutely.
And live somewhere different.
Absolutely.
Why? I was like, why not?
Yeah.
The hardest reaction was mum.
Yeah.
She was like, why are you leaving me?
Yeah. I'm not.
And again, it circles back to that. I'm not leaving everyone and leaving because I live in such a horrible place. I'm exploring. I'm running towards a better version of life for me and experiencing different things.
If we end up back in Australia, we'll have a completely different perspective on everything then. Like, you can't experience the stuff that we're experiencing.
Was there any reaction when you told someone that stuck with you, that still sticks with you?
Yes. Obviously, my decision to move, there was a few other moving parts. So I was engaged, and then I wasn't. Great uncle and auntie, before the engagement, had met my ex-fiance for the first time. He made a very good point of going to meet them and everything, so that was really nice. And so they were told about the engagement and all that stuff, and I wasn't engaged yet because he hadn't popped the question. And so it was all just like, oh, have fun in Canada, like, it'll be really great. And then I went to Canada, and long and behold, blah, 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 ring on my finger, blah, blah, blah. And I got messages from them being like, congratulations. Then 3 months later, I had to send a message being like, hey, so I'm not engaged anymore and I'm moving to Europe. And I remember getting a phone call from my great auntie, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he's such a lovely man and you're just going to leave that all behind and go and chase like your music career and blah and fleet around Europe. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, it's been 2 days and I'm going to go because I don't really know what to say. But she was distraught because they really liked him. And that was probably the only reaction that I got. And that wasn't purely because of the move itself. That was because of the choice I made before the move.
You can't really like live your life just because someone says you're making a mistake or that's not what I would do. Like, you should do this. I mean, okay, let me do what you say and I'll be unhappy. Or
exactly, because of one opinion, whereas I have to live this every single day. Like, I have to wake up every morning and grace the decisions that I've made. And I think like I had spent so much of my life prior to making this choice doing exactly that, being like, oh, well, they're happy, so that's fine. Yeah. Whereas now it's like, well, I don't fucking care. If you're not happy, then
bye.
That took a long time of healing and stuff, though. It's not like it was wake up one morning and actually fuck y'all.
Yeah, I don't care what you think.
Exactly. You've seen it in the last year of having to work through that. What about you? Not really.
Not really. Everyone was pretty like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of like, oh, for how long?
Yeah,
like
that's
a trip.
The question. Everyone thought it was a hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was like, have fun until you run out of money.
Yeah. The ones that keep me here to this day is when the people were like, oh, okay, I was well, I'll see you in a couple months, because they didn't believe you would stick it out.
For sure.
My boss was like, oh, well, we'll see you back here in 6 months.
But because,
those little things that like, no, I'm going to stay.
It's the small town mentality.
Yes.
Like, that's just what they were like, well, why would you do that? It's going to get hard. And when it gets hard, like, come back to safety.
Yeah.
That's not... There's been times, but never, not once in this whole time have I been like, I just want to go home.
Yeah. Because again, you think, okay, yeah, I can go home. It'll be a nice breather, but then what am I going to do?
Exactly.
You
Sit
still
in my
want to be
mum's
the
house
same.
and be like, I can't afford a home, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to live here for a bit. Like,
I mean, like, some people like to stay and,
yes,
do all that.
Sure.
And I think that's within them, whereas within me, I haven't seen lavender in France or the freaking Highland cows in Scotland.
Yeah.
I want to pat one.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not do that in my lifetime.
Yeah, and also flying 30 hours to try and cram all of that into 2 months is just ridiculous. Just live here and then do it on a weekend. It's not. We're painting this like it's the most magical thing ever.
It's not.
It is and it's not. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
And leaving was hard.
Yeah.
But choose your heart.
Choose your heart.
Like,
I know.
Waking up every morning for me, not knowing what I'm doing is better here than at home. Because I would be doing the same thing back there.
And we don't hate Australia.
No.
We like Australia. We think it's a great place. When I was working with people here, and they're like, oh, why'd you leave? Like, is Australia bad to live in? No, it's a great place. But when you've grown up there and you've had the privilege of being surrounded by a beautiful country and being safe and having great healthcare and all that, I'm not saying it's a bad place. Again, I'm not running away from something that was horrible.
No.
It's just going to something different, experiencing something else.
Yeah.
And not being a 30-hour plane ride from a holiday.
Exactly. That is great.
Yeah, Australia's great. I encourage everyone to go visit there. I'm like, go.
Absolutely.
Take a couple months, explore it. It's an amazing place.
Yeah.
But we've grown up there. We've done it. I feel like we've ticked that off the bucket list.
And how many people who have been like, why would you leave Australia? Then in the next breath be like, I hate it here. Like, where I grew up is so awful. My country, my town is so terrible. That's why I'm... Wherever you are for your whole life, there's going to be parts that you don't like.
Yeah.
Just like there's parts of every country that we live in so far that I haven't liked. It's expensive, it's different, it's this, it's that. But you're going to have that everywhere. Might as well be, not understanding people on the street while you're doing it.
Yeah. And I think my favourite thing is when people say, oh, I wish I could do that.
Oh,
I'm not qualified to do this. I do not have the funds to do this.
No,
but I'm doing it because I want to do it.
Make it work.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so true. It's like when people, and this is one thing that I could not fathom, when so many people were like, Michaela, you're so brave.
Yeah.
I literally pointed and clicked a one-way ticket, and then have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah. 90% of the time.
We figured it out. We needed to get a tax number. Okay, how do we do that? Let's figure that out.
Learn on the job.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we've been doing.
That's the thing. Like, I guess when I look at people that have stayed in Sunbury and have had kids, it's not so much like, oh, I wish I could do that. It's also like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
So I guess people look at us and like, oh, I wish I could do that because I don't know how to do that.
But it's classic grass is greener.
Yeah, it is.
Like, anyone could do this. It's it's not always an easy process to get working visas, but there are 12-month working holiday visas in most European countries. And you could go and do this. Book a flight tomorrow, start the process, get a visa, and get a job. Like, it's not going to be that simple.
Yeah.
Always, and we've learned that. But also, you think about the job application process in Australia, it's the same. Like, I was unemployed for a few months when I first moved to Melbourne, looking for a job. You do the processes wherever you are, but if you want that adventure, you can't wait for the right time.
No, and it's picking your priorities. Like, every single person that's said to me, oh, I wish I could do that. I'm like, okay, you could have done that, but you just chose differently. Yeah. And it's not a bad thing. It's no one has a superior life. It's just people want different things and have different dreams. And I don't think anyone should, why is she doing that? Or why are they doing that? Like,
yeah, I don't judge y'all for doing whatever you do. Like, you do whatever you do and I'll do what I do. And you just smile away. Do you know how many times I say y'all in my head?
It's not something we're going to
We don't share that. We can cut the part out. That's in the archive. Biggest delusion versus reality. When you first made the choice, what was your...
Emily in Paris. Emily in Paris led me to believe that I would be living above a really cute guy. I would be meeting all these cute European men. No. Or
That's
like...
the only thing you took out of Emily in Paris? There are going to be cute men everywhere, and we're going to live above all of them.
And we're going to bump into people, and they're going to want to be our friends, and the streets are going to be clean.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. It's the hot girl summer thing.
It's not. It's like a...
It's not like
well,
that.
we had like a cold.
Yeah, cold girl.
Cold girl.
Saddies.
Yeah, I think you can't watch TV shows and films and be like, yes, that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just real life and you're just doing it somewhere else.
I think like my biggest delusion for the whole thing was that you can plan for things.
Yeah.
Like I think back to the audition, which that was going to be my ticket for 5 years worth of visa. And I was like, I'm going to work really hard. I taught myself music theory. I practiced every day for months to get into the first one. I got rejected because I was from Australia. Second one, same thing. Like I had 2 other bandmates come in. You came in to rehearse. Like we were rehearsing all the time. Showed up to the audition. I deserve this. It's the deserve word. You can't plan for rejection. Life, no matter where you are, is not going to be like that. I had so many grand plans and it's going to go like this and then we're going to do that and then we're going to get this and then it's going to be fine and we're going to have a house over our heads and we'll be here forever. Nothing that I planned.
The plan went out the window.
Very quickly. We had up to plan like E. Housing was another thing. We were like, it's fine, we'll get there, it'll be easier, we're on the ground. We'll have a house in no time. We were living in my great auntie's home in the Netherlands for what?
3-4 months?
3-4 months.
Yeah.
Thank God she was there.
Yeah.
But without that, our trip would have been cut short because we couldn't afford hotels. Then it would have been a trip.
Finding a place to live was extremely hard. Yeah. And it was all those little things like having a bank account in the country, having a phone number in the country. They needed you to have all these things and then they're like, okay, you're here for a while. Yeah, you needed to have the job and all of the bank statements for a job that we haven't even had for more than a month. It was so difficult. It was showing someone that, hey, I'm a responsible person, but when you don't have all that stuff normally, like... But that, I think, goes back to that deserve thing. But like we would sit there and be like, but we're such good people, we're so lovely. But they don't know that. They've got to read us off a piece of paper. Exactly. Especially with the language barrier, probably the biggest thing is it's not an entitlement thing. I don't think that either of us are ever entitled. I think back home, because there's kind of that community in Australians, like whatever. Yeah. When you're here, like you are no one until you are someone. And that's both humbling and also like, well, you've got to kind of fight to be that. It's tough. But we did it. Don't know how we did it, but we did it. We're here. Leaving your hometown or leaving where you've grown up, where you've lived for ages, does it immortalize your life there? Have you left who you were there and created a new one here? Or has it kind of left the people there as an alternate life? When I left, I was like, there was so much change going on dynamically for like our family and everything. Part of me was, but if I leave, everything stays the same in my mind. It's true. That's my life there. It's true. I'm not going through that change with all of them and having to adjust. I've left it. That's them. That's my Australian life. I've come here. My European life. Yeah. That's an interesting, I've never thought about that before. I see a lot of the life that goes on back home every day because of whatever. This is my new life, I believe, but I hope that everyone back home can respect that person. You know what I mean? So, but when you think of your people that you've left, do you see them to continue to grow? Like, if you were to move back to Australia, okay, are you slotting back into your old life? No. Oh, yes. I remember, and I don't know if I'm understanding the question correctly, we'll see. I remember coming home after 3 months of being in the Netherlands the first time and going back to Mum's house, because I'd obviously lived out of Mum's house.
And I remember lying in bed one morning and just being like, I can hear and I know exactly what's going to happen because it's always happened the same, you know? And it was so shocking because you go through so much change. I don't know that you do. I don't know that the life that was back there does grow and change that much. You like to hope so.
I think you've kind of reached the limit of your growth there.
Yes.
So that's how I kind of see it, like, I'm capped there.
But it almost felt like I went back to a snow globe. Like it was all the same and things changed, sure, but it would always go back to the same thing. But I agree. Yeah. I had hit my quota there. Yeah. That was it for me.
Obviously going back home for like a visit, it was like trying on a dress and it didn't fit. You love the dress.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't fit this anymore.
Yeah.
I've outgrown it.
Yeah. And I feel a similar way when I speak to people back home about, like, you know, because it's life. You don't speak to people for months and then you have a phone call with them and they just don't understand. Yeah. Like, so how are you? Well, yeah, I'm good, but like, where do you want me to start? Like, so much happens in such a small amount of time that you're like, that happened, this happened, now we're here, now we're there. Like, they can't keep up. And understandable, I can't fucking keep up.
We can't even keep up in this episode because we're trying to recap a whole year.
Literally. Yeah. And a lot is going on. A lot has happened.
Exactly. But I think it's a good place to start.
I agree.
Because we're experts now.
Are you an expert?
An expert in the shit show.
Yeah, all right. And that's the thing. But I think that we downplay our abilities now. Like, yeah, shit's tough, but we've done it before. And I think that's the biggest thing about moving abroad is you just have to take shit on.
Yeah.
Things hit ya. It's disappointing.
And doing it in a different language.
Oh, fuck me. Trying to translate anything. Having a nasty downstairs neighbour who yells at you in a different language for singing and doing it well. I don't even know what you're complaining about, mate.
Enjoy the free music.
Literally. People normally pay for this shit.
So obviously, like, people grow in their life. Everyone changes, evolves as they get older. You change. No one stays the same.
No.
Do you feel like moving overseas, are you running from change or are you controlling your change?
I'm controlling it.
Yeah. I thought of this of you when I made this question because I think if you stayed in Australia, there would have been change happening to you. And by coming here, you've taken control of the direction.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. And like, I have done so much work in the last 12 months, but I think that a lot of the work I have done is because I have been left alone in a room while you're at work, or things are happening to me and I now have the space away from, like, I don't have the ability to ask. I would always ask for almost permission from family or other friends or whatever to be like, yeah, but I want to do this thing, but do you think that that's okay? Like, do you think that it's going to be all right? Or do I send this text message? It's not very nice and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Whereas here it's like, there's no one to check it off. Yeah. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to send this text message to end a friendship we have had to do, what outcome do I want out of this for me? And I think the biggest change in the last 12 months is actually... The biggest change for me in the last 12 months is actually realizing that I can be a factor in a decision for myself. And like,
Which is crazy because of course you're a factor in your decisions.
I now know this, but back in the day, it would be like someone would ask for something, I didn't want to do it, but if I said no, then that would upset them. So I'm going to do it.
I think that's what I've learned a lot from living with you is that it's not, see, I've done the opposite, whereas I'm not like, it's me, I'm going to do this for me, this is going to be great for me. I'm like, okay, but how does it affect her?
Yeah.
Like, if I was...
How do they feel?
Especially now that, like, we live together and we share pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I can't just be like, I'm doing this and I'm going to do that. Well, I can to a certain degree, but I've got to be like, okay, but how is that going to affect the people around me?
Sure. Where, it's such a sore point, and I noticed this since living with you, because I obviously love and care about you very much.
Yeah. You better.
Exactly. But learning that you're not going to leave if I upset you, but also be like, even if I do something to annoy you, that's not the end of the world. Like, I spent my whole fucking life annoyed with people. Like, you're pissing me off or you're making me sad. Yeah. But I would just live through that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, yeah, but then that feeling kind of surpasses, or you talk to someone and you'd be like, oh, like that was pretty shitty. But it's also, I think, a big shift for me being out of my hometown is being able to choose who you give your energy to.
Yeah.
When you're surrounded by them all the time, you're in it. And when you remove yourself from it, you look at it and you're like, oh, and that's why I ended my engagement. I was in it with him all the time in that tiny little apartment. It wasn't until I moved to the Netherlands for 3 months and I was away from it that I was like, I fucking hate that. Yeah. I don't want to live like that the rest of my life. It's when you
take yourself out of the situation. Yeah. When you are living it day to day to day to day to day, you're just caught up in this.
There's no escape.
This is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you take yourself out, you almost become an outsider looking into your life.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see, oh, well, like, I don't like that, or I don't like that, and why am I doing that? And when you literally pluck yourself into somewhere that's so foreign to you, where you have to create all these new habits and these new routines, you can literally just, oh, I don't like doing that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I want to do this. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, it's been such a shift in the last little while, because who I was, who you moved into, and same as you, who I moved into in the Netherlands, we're not the same fucking human beings anymore.
No, we are broken.
Yeah, but that's when you rebuild. And the things.
Yeah, but I lost my pieces.
Yeah, well, one of them's there. One of them's there. You left one at home when you went home. The ducks are everywhere.
The ducks are everywhere. Some of them aren't ducks.
I think that a lot of it has been because I have had to be alone. Because we've moved here together, but we've lived very different lives. Yeah, I haven't had the ability to work, so I've focused on my music, which was always the idea. But even just in my music career, like understanding that I can make music that I like, not what the band likes or what the audience likes or whatever. In a lot of days, just sitting on the couch staring at the ceiling, we're like, the fuck is happening? What are you doing? Why are you sad? You have no reason. Oh, let's pluck up some past trauma. And it's been fucking great.
Been great. But the music that's come out of it is
it's been fantastic. And the opportunities, and it's we were talking about this today, it's the factor of we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So fucking just give it a crack.
Why not?
Yeah, just go.
Yeah. That's right. Alright. Ready for the unhinged questions.
Oh god.
Asking what shouldn't be asked. A question that you've been dying to ask.
You start.
Well, it's not unhinged.
Okay. I'm scared. Look at my body language. I'm afraid.
No, it's not that bad. But I think it's something that we should talk about.
On the internet? Shit.
Did your personal finances give you the privilege of choice?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you didn't have your finances, or if you had thrown all your finances into someone else or combined your finances with someone else, how would that have changed?
I was very lucky in the fact that I worked fucking hard for my savings account.
Exactly. And so what happens if you had shared that with someone?
Well, exactly. And this is the thing. I had saved said savings account to buy a house with said ex-fiancé.
Yeah.
So if I had bought said house with ex-fiancé, I would have been not as lucky as I am now.
Would you have made the same choice to leave?
Absolutely.
How would you have...
I don't know how I would have made it work, but I would have made it work. I mean, when I first moved here, I was under the impression that I was going to be able to work straight away.
And you did. You did work.
I did. But I thought that it was going to be a long-term thing. I mean, would things have looked different? Oh, we're talking like, what's your zero here? Because apparently zero is like if I had no savings at all.
Yeah. Because I think that is the biggest factor. People are like, how do you have the money to do this?
Absolutely.
And honestly, it's not that expensive to move here.
No.
If you can afford the flight, the visa for the Netherlands was super cheap. It was like, what, $70?
$70.
It's the living. But again, you're living at home. So you'd still have to get a job, you'd still have to pay rent there. You just have to do it here.
Exactly. So I think my circumstance with visas and things was very different as well.
Yeah.
With that in mind, my savings gave me a lot of choice.
Would you feel privileged that you had a choice?
Absolutely. I feel lucky. No, I feel like, because it's funny, like thinking about when we were talking about buying a house and things like that. So when I had the savings there, that would be spoken about the buying of the house.
Yeah.
But my money would sit there and I was always like, you ain't touching that shit. That is mine. I worked so fucking hard for that money.
Yeah.
I feel like it happened for a reason.
Would you consider this an investment?
Absolutely. Honestly, absolutely. At the end of the day, I made that savings once. All else fails, I'm absolutely miserable and I hate it. I go home and I make that money back. You just can't, the things that we've been through in the last year, you couldn't recreate that. At our, not at our age or anything like that, but like we are in our 20s once.
Yeah.
If things start to get complicated and you have to buy the house and you have to have the kids and you have to do the marriage and not in that order generally, things get harder. But yeah, the growth that I think that I've seen in the last 12 months with myself, I wouldn't not put a price on at all.
Oh, that's really nice. You invested in yourself.
I sure did. Fucking idiot. It is.
How are the returns on that?
They're coming. They are in the process. But it is because a lot of people talk about that as being a factor of not.
I think investing in your happiness is so important.
It's so important.
You can't continue your life being so miserable.
Yeah, I don't want to play the dead dad. I have seen, and I'm sure, like, unfortunately, so many people have experienced that kind of loss. But life is so fucking fickle.
Yes, I was thinking about that today.
So short.
How short it is. Because again, I think about what the fuck am I doing here multiple times a day. I mean, you have definitely seen firsthand how short it is.
Everyone sees.
You're like, why would I want to spend so much time not chasing my dreams?
It's the feeling in your belly when you've just hiked to the top of somewhere in Italy, or when you've
it's those moments
when you've achieved. When I recorded at the church, that was a holy. I'm not religious, but that was a holy motherfucking moment. And because I worked so hard for that. Yes, you work hard for money for what? To then sit around. What do you do?
Oh, they got mad money.
Literally though, like. I'm not the best financial advisor, but when I am like 70, 80 years old, this is the shit. Yeah. You know?
You're welcome.
My unhinged question.
I'm so ready for this.
No, you're going to have to cut it. I have two. I'll tell you the original one and then I kind of clued on to what you were doing in that.
What did you think about when I said unhinged question?
You know what I thought straight away? I was like, what level of unhinged though? I go from what is your favourite colour to like how often do you think about death? Like I don't have much of an in between and I'm happy to talk about any of them. Do you want to know you're going to have to cut this out of the podcast because it's fucking embarrassing. I was drying my toes the other night coming out of the shower.
Dry your toes? And
I wanted to ask, how often? No, this.
Do I dry my toes?
Yeah. In between.
Was that the question?
Yes. I'm just trying to learn. I was curious.
I'm going to say the only time I dry in between my toes is if I'm going to put socks straight on. We have a very fluffy mat straight out of the bath.
That's what I thought too. But
so as soon as I step out,
you said unhinged.
That was the question?
No, that was the first one. And then I thought about it harder and I overthought it and then I overthought it again. I have two. What is something that you've thought about in the last 12 months? The most unhinged thing that you've thought that kind of went from like I would never do that to make money to being like but I could.
See, for me, it's like I would do that for money, but I couldn't do it.
What is it?
No, I very seriously looked into how to sell feet pics.
So did I.
Because I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
But do you know what's so funny? They were like, you need to promote it on your own socials. I'm like, I don't want to be known as the foot person.
No. I also looked into sugar daddies. Sugar daddies. Sugar daddies.
The further along we get, there's not much that I wouldn't do for money now. That aligns with morals and the law.
Yeah.
I also read you'd have to like get pedicures and stuff, like frequently.
Yeah, but if you're getting paid good money for foot pics, then I like pedis. That's right. But then that's why a sugar daddy comes in handy, because if he likes them, then he pays for them. If I had called you in Manchester, I remember this phone call very well. If I called you in Manchester and said what I said to you and I was like, hey, I think that I'm going to end this engagement, like I'm unhappy. I think I'm getting home and I'm going to have to move out, blah, 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 blah. And then I came home and changed my mind. Would you have been
to stay with him? If staying with him meant that you weren't going to go back overseas, yes.
Fair.
If you're like, we're staying together, but I'm still going to move overseas and we're going to do, or he's going to come, or we're going to do 6 months, I would have been like, cool.
Yeah.
If you were like, and we're getting married next week, I would have been like, hell no. No, you're not.
I'm not assisting with that. Neither
if you came back and said, I'm going to stay here and have a baby and put on an apron, I would have been like, nice knowing you.
Who are you? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been
I have
good.
so many follow-up questions, but we can leave that. Did you see it coming?
Everyone saw it coming.
Yeah, apparently everyone fucking saw it coming except me. Anyway.
That's what I mean. We're all outsiders looking in. When you're living in, it's a different story.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that I vividly remember going into therapy one day when I clued on that he was going to propose, and I was like, you need to, this is happening, and I want it, but I need to talk about convincing me to want it. She was like, oh, maybe not. Good chat. Good chat.
Music licensing.
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, sure.
Good chats.
Good chat.
Good chat.